dares to make the journey at least once in their lifetime. Today, people dressed in white robes, and they've walked more than 14 kilometers from Mina to Mount Arafat, where they are praying. It's believed to be the site where the Prophet Muhammad gave his last sermon. More than 1 million people in China are being moved to safer ground in the eastern part of the country. Storm Rikima, a powerful typhoon, struck near Shanghai. It brought dangerous winds and flooding, killing at least 18 people. Officials say it is the region's worst storm in 5 years, and it is expected to bring more destruction as it moves north over the weekend. And in Ancaster, Ontario,
one of these teams will go to Williamsport to play in the Little League World Series.
the Canadian Little League Championship is underway. It began about an hour ago. The Mirabel Diamond, representing Quebec, are taking on the A's from Coquitlam, BC. The winner of the game will go on to the Little League World Series later this month in Pennsylvania. The score at the end of the third inning appears to be 3-0 for Team British Columbia. Just hit a home run by the looks of it. You can watch the game live on the CBC Sports website or on the CBC Gem application. It's about 22 degrees under mostly cloudy skies outside. A mix of sun and cloud throughout the day with a chance of showers and the risk of a thunderstorm. A high of 22 degrees. In the townships today, mainly cloudy with a chance of showers and the risk of a thunderstorm as well. A high of 20. For Quebec City, a mix of sun and cloud with a 60% chance of showers. Also a chance of a thunderstorm as well. A high of 20 degrees. And in Gaspé and Percé today, mainly cloudy with a few showers beginning later in the afternoon and a risk of thunderstorms. A high of 22.
Welcome to the best of Quirks and Quarks. This program was originally broadcast on January 5th, 2019. It's good to be back in the studio after the holidays. Time to warm up the old moneymaker. me. Check 1, check 2. Bovine spongiform encephalopathy. Yeah, that's better. What the heck? Bob, can you hear me? It's vital that we speak. The very future is at risk. What? Who's this? I'm you, sort of. Our mind was transplanted into an android body in the year 2037. We're speaking through a quantum audio wormhole, but I can only keep it open for a few minutes. Really? An android me in the future? Hey, am I still hosting Quirks and Quarks? Of course you are. Who else could do it? But that's not important. What's important is we're facing a crisis in the future. Conspiracy theories, crazy beliefs, and fake science is totally out of control. And it all started in your time. What, it's our fault? Your era was ground zero when people started believing strange stuff. I mean, there was this guy saying you could prevent forest fires by raking.
Gotta take care of the floors, the floors of the forest. Very important.
And that whole flat earth thing.
For me, it's not about whether the world is flat, whether the world is round. It's really about everyone just believing what they want to believe and feeling comfortable with it.
It was just a few people in your time. Now everyone believes this stuff. They all think the moon landing was fake, that vaccines cause autism. We're boiling, and they think climate change is a hoax. Really? You mean they even think that lizard people walk among us? That kind of crazy stuff? About the lizard people, no, never mind that. The point is, these ideas have completely contaminated the future timeline. To save the world, we need you to nip this in the bud. Oh, sure. How do I do that? Bob, we need you to provide facts. Well-established, well-researched, scientifically informed responses to people's questions about the world. What? You mean like a Quirks and Quarks question show could save the future? Bob, it's the only thing that can. Well, if that's what it's going to take, then that's what we're going to do to save the future. Our first question in this future-saving question show is actually about climate change.
Hello, it's Renata Rafael from Victoria, BC. After hearing about the increase in the number of natural disasters, I got to wondering, are earthquakes impacted by climate change?
And for the answer, we go to Dr. Alison Malcolm from the Earth Sciences Department at Memorial University in Newfoundland in St. John's. Dr. Malcolm, welcome to Quirks and Quarks.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Now, we hear a lot about climate change and the increase in extreme weather events. Can the warming planet lead to more earthquakes?
It absolutely can. Anytime that you move mass around on the Earth, you have the possibility to affect earthquakes. So if an ice cap melts, then that changes the forces and the stresses that are on the land underneath that ice cap, and that can absolutely cause seismicity.
Well, take me through the mechanism. What's going on there when ice melts and you get earthquakes?
Well, I mean, you can think about it like if you have a spring or something and you push down on it and then you let go, it's going to bounce back up. And the Earth is not a simple spring, it's a much more complicated mechanism, but it still works in a similar way, that when you have an ice cap, it presses down on the land underneath it because it has a lot of mass. And as that ice cap melts, then it's going to allow that land to come up, and that motion is part of what causes some types of earthquakes. And you also redistribute mass in other ways. As sea level rises, you're going to see changes in the ocean mass distribution, and that can certainly change the seismicity patterns of the Earth.
What kinds of earthquakes would be caused by melting ice caps?
Well, that's not something that there's a super clear answer to. There's some evidence that melting ice caps, and in fact also what we call post-glacial rebound, which is basically that the Earth is still kind of rising back out. If you think of that spring, the ice age has pushed the Earth down for a long time, and the Earth responds very slowly, and so it's still kind of coming back up. And there's some evidence that causes some sorts of interplate earthquakes.
So are we talking then about the kind of earthquakes where we see where cities are devastated, buildings come down? What types of earthquakes are we talking about?
Generally, with our observations now, earthquakes, actually there are earthquakes happening all the time. It's just the large ones are the only ones that we notice. And is climate change likely to have a big impact on, when there might be a large earthquake off the west coast of Canada? I have not seen any evidence to suggest that it would.
Okay. Now, other than melting ice and rising sea levels, are there other climate-related conditions that could lead to earthquakes?
Anytime you have large amounts of mass moving around, so I can imagine that, if you have a huge amount of